Hello, welcome to another edition of the Injury to Recovery YouTube channel. So today Greg and I will be talking a little bit about running on hills. And this will be a slightly shorter video, but we'll talk about how to do so safely and successfully. Greg,
how's it going, Blaine?
Good. How does it feel running down the hill?
Oh, it feels good. It's been a kind of a beautiful morning this morning.
It is very nice outside. It's brisk, but the sun feels great.
Yeah, brisk. So for everyone that's at home and watching, it's what, 25 I think is what the temperature is before we got out here. So
yep, it's a little bit
it's kind of chilly.
So I was just doing the intro talking about the hill running, and the main thing I wanted to emphasize as far as running on hills is the importance of building up to it gradually. So we've talked about doing that with distance in a lot of previous videos. How if you want to avoid getting injured while you run, you don't want to run, if you're getting in shape for a 10K, a 6-mile race, you don't want to run several 1- and 2-mile races and then all of a sudden run a 5-mile race, because that's a real abrupt change in distance. And so the same thing with hills is when you start running on hills, you want to break into them gradually and not spend a whole lot of time running on hills. And so the important thing to remember is that the ability to run, even if you're in shape to run a really lengthy distance, 10 or 20 miles, that does not translate into being able to run on hills. They're two different workouts.
Yeah.
And so if you're running a race that has some flats and some hills, you have to prepare for both.
Yeah. I had that experience. In high school we went from hills to, or from just distance to hills, and we would do that through intervals. And so one of the things to think about is, one of the ways you can introduce hills is a shorter distance, but maybe a couple of timed versions of it. And that might be a way to kind of get you used to it. So
Sure.
I don't know if that's what you would recommend as a physical therapist, but
yeah, as long as you're introducing new challenges gradually, avoiding really abrupt changes in your training is the best way to avoid injuries. And really, in my opinion, the best way to do it is through running apps. And so most of us have fitness watches that have GPSs in them, and probably the most common app is Strava that most runners use. But apps like that
if it didn't happen on Strava, it's not.
It didn't happen, yeah.
It didn't happen at all, so.
The nice thing about that, though, is it can graph it all, and so you can graph out your weekly mileage, but you can also graph out your weekly hills. And so your graph should look like a gradual, steady increments as you're building up to a certain challenge, and that should be with both your distance and with your, how much elevation change you're gaining in each of your runs.
Yeah. So let's think about this again. We're thinking about trying to prevent injury and things like that. A question I think a lot of people might ask is, are hills something that could cause you to have a higher likelihood of injury? I mean, yes, increasing your training, but I would imagine as a physical therapist, you might have seen some injuries that may have come from hill runners.
Yes, if you're a distance runner, you're more likely to get injured on hills. That can be avoided, though, just by doing what we were talking about and building up to it gradually. But running up hills, runners are more likely to have a calf strain or develop an Achilles tendonitis problem. And then running down hills, you're more likely to strain a hamstring or maybe get some plantar fasciitis, harder pounding. And so you really want to prepare for those. Also, we've talked about this in several other videos, but lifting weights, doing a lot of like squats and lunges and stuff like that is a great way to prepare for hills.
So, well, I wouldn't. We're not going to make this super long, but just realize hills, make it easy, gradual, just like every other running experience, and enjoy it.
Yeah.
There's something to enjoy about hills in my view. I kind of like pushing over the top and stuff like that. So.
Oh, it's really amazing. It's you can see some of the most beautiful things that most people don't ever get to see if you train to run on hills. Yeah. And you can train your body to go up and down a lot of hills. We're not saying you can't do it, just build up to it and give yourself plenty of time to prepare. But they can be really fun and a great workout and give you some of the best views that you'll ever see.
Nice. All right, well, thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.